Welcome to the PITT CREW. I'm Camille, your attending, and I have my residents with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
And today we're covering episode 13, 7 p.m., and I'm retitling this one to be And Squeeze Blood.
And Squeeze Blood is...
I love the baseball, and Squeeze Blood.
And
You're out! Somebody get Noah Wiley to play an umpire in a baseball movie.
Actually, he could just yell that at Langdon. It would work.
Yeah, no, I actually think that was in the first draft of the script and they cut it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know those memes that take Freddie Mercury and they're like Freddie Mercury, but he's going down a slide in a park in the middle of the night?
No.
God fucking damn it. Listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Someone needs to make that meme, but it's Robbie is like a really intense baseball coach and he's like, "Go home, Frank!"
Run home, Frank! What do you guys think? Okay, so we know that Santos is gymnastics. What sports do you think the others played? To me, I know from photos of season 2 that Langdon likes hockey because he has a Penguins hat. He does seem like a baseball kid to me, which is also I know Patrick Ball played baseball. Patrick Baseball.
Yo, Patrick Ball knows ball?
He does know ball.
Patrick Baller.
Whitaker strikes me as
a water boy
who would have, or someone who would have done track or something.
Whitaker strikes me as moving hay as a sport.
Yeah.
Whitaker didn't have time for after school. He had to go to the farm.
For
exactly.
Sure.
Whitaker was actually homeschooled. Whoops.
Who else we have? We said Santos has gymnastics, at least according to Issa.
Collins volleyball, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
They all give more nerd than jock, I guess, just being doctors. So I'm just kind of they all were too busy studying.
Mateo, I'm feeling...
Well, hockey's the obvious, but I would say football.
Or I could see Mateo playing football.
Are the Pittsburgh Penguins really good or something that we're just assigning hockey to everyone?
No, I mean, yes, the Penguins are a great team. I hate them, but they are a great team. They have won a lot of Stanley Cups. So this week's patient presents with a case of cowboy medicine because it really comes in here. All of a sudden, everyone's just going off the fucking rails and just doing shit, which is, I mean, this episode, everything changes so quickly in this episode. I do want to preface, there will be background noise for me. You will hear random sounds. I'm sorry, I can't make it stop. I have 5-6-week-old kittens running around the room that I'm in right now. If you hear a meow or a purr or a screech or something fall over, I can't help it. Sorry. I'm not a professional podcaster, okay?
What? This isn't your full-time job?
It is not, no. I actually lose money on this podcast.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Talking about our funny little show that we like to talk about. Funny little show, I say, as we get into a really fucking intense episode.
Yes. We pick back up. Robbie is coming back into the ER, and Dana is not happy that SWAT is there, which, go off. I also am get the cops out of my business. She's why are they here? Robbie's you know the drill. This is just standard. They were, this is just how they do. There's, officer down, and SWAT is there because they think potentially the shooter could be coming to the hospital. So the police really are just kind of up in everybody's faces, though. And Dana is okay, come on. This is,
This ain't Philly.
This ain't the precinct. So gossip is starting to spread that the shooter may be headed that way. McKay asks Langdon about it, about why SWAT is there. And then Langdon says maybe they think the shooter is heading here. He has no reason to think that. No, he's not been told this. This is just a guess. And it is a correct guess, but it is gossip.
It's an educated guess. McKay is shit, is that true? My kid's here. And Dr. Shamsi comes down and she's both of you stop spreading rumors.
She's oh my God, the shooter's headed this way?
Yeah, she asks if it's true. She wants to gossip with him. And then when they're we don't know, she's stop spreading rumors.
Gossiping.
I'm girl, you were totally ready to spread rumors right with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Go home, Frank.
I don't... I don't know. Go home, Eileen. I don't know if she was like, I wouldn't necessarily call what she was going to do like gossiping, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, like you literally jumped right into this conversation that you overheard. And so like, technically, I guess you could classify that as gossip. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't like her attitude. Yeah. I just don't like her attitude. I get that everyone is stressed, but like, girl, come on. I think, so we go to the roof, we have Javati and Whitaker, and I think this is the most beautifully lit scene that I've seen in a very long time. Like the time of day, the lighting, you can see the different colors from the helicopter and the helipad, and like, it's just beautiful. Like the cinematography here is really incredible, and I just think it's stunning.
I also like Javati and Whitaker bouncing off each other, trying to be like, okay, where are we supposed to stand? Mm-hmm. What does 12 o'clock mean? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I think we just stand here, and the pilot walks up to us and gives us the blood, which is what ends up happening.
It's so me whenever I don't know what I'm doing in a situation and I'm like with a friend. I'm just kind of like, so here's what I think we're supposed to do. It's just kind of like, it feels very anxious, like stream of consciousness, this conversation that they're having. And I love them.
I overanalyze the hell out of any instructions given to me. This is not an official assessment test, but I did see a TikTok that's like, oh, these are one of the questions they might ask on like an autism assessment test. Mm-hmm. And the question was like, what is your favorite color? Or, I'm sorry, repeat after me. What is your favorite color? And I said blue. And it's like, if you said a color, you're wrong. I'm like, but I answered the question. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You told us about that one. Yeah. I was just reading a book or rereading a book where they talk about how like, there are standardized tests that are so stupid that they're hard because the people taking those tests are incredibly intelligent people. And so they're overthinking things to the point that they're getting the answers wrong, and how that's like not fair and directly affects like people of color and women, like marginalized communities. So it's interesting. It was very interesting. Yeah, I just love the way the scene is lit. It's beautiful. And so they bring the blood in, they come running in, and they're like, who needs blood? And it's like, everyone.
One of the things that I have found out is that there are like, at least by estimations by people who like doctors who reviewed the show, in that emergency like blood transfer, there's like maybe 20 or 30 units roughly. And as we find out in a little bit, when Robbie goes back out to triage, we've had roughly 80 patients minus like what, 2 or 3 that have been like confirmed dead or about to die. Yeah, DOA. So that's about 20 or 30 units of blood that have to be divided amongst 70 something patients.
Mm-hmm. And that's including surgery.
Yeah.
So like, that's crazy because like, I think afterwards we end up with like a total of just over 100 patients, which is crazy.
Whew.
Oh my God. I was thinking about the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival and how there were 60 fatalities. That's the shooting that was in Las Vegas. 60 fatalities.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
60. That's crazy. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. That's like, if I'm thinking about it, if you've got like 30 students in a classroom, that could be like 2 classrooms of people. That's a whole crowd of people dead.
Yeah.
Oh God. So, and you have to keep in mind, you know, some of these patients are, we see an overdose in this episode, and it's not his blood on him, it's other people's, but he is considered one of the victims, right? So, because he came in with that rush and came from the festival. So.
Yeah. Not to make it low-key dark, but just because they have 100 and whatever patients and only 4 died does not mean that's the total amount of people who have been shot and who passed away at this event. They are just the biggest emergency room in Pittsburgh, so they get the majority of the patients.
They are the trauma center. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oy, oy, oy.
But I think other patients were sent other places, right?
Potentially, they could have also driven other places.
Yeah.
You know, patients could be driving themselves. Someone could be driving a patient somewhere else.
The theory is because they're the biggest and the closest trauma center, they'll be getting the majority of the intense cases.
Yeah.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, this guy he got clipped a little bit in the shin and he's bleeding a little bit. We can drive him to the hospital 20 minutes away. Meanwhile, this person who has multiple bullet wounds, we got to drive him to, the fucking
Well, I don't
pit.
know. I think the responding emergency is, well, this is the hospital. They divert everything else that is not festival related to other hospitals. They're on diversion. So they shut down. They can't have any ambulances except for the festival. Now, and I trust our listeners. I'm sure I know we've heard from a couple like emergency medicine physicians and nurses and paramedics. And so I'm sure someone will write in and explain it to us, and then we can read it to you guys, for the people who don't know, like us, kind of what those procedures are like. So they also have run out of bougies now. And I was like, what is a bougie? Because they talk about it a lot. And I Googled it. It's not a nickname. Like, they're actually called bougies. They're like thin, flexible tubes with a curved end. And so they use them for all sorts of like medical device placements. So all the cops start backseat doctoring. And Dana's like, all right, that's it. Everybody out. Like, all of you into this trauma room. Like, no, can't, no. Which is, like, even I was getting annoyed because they're like, yeah, shouldn't his blah, blah, blah be blah? And I'm like, if you don't shut the fuck up and let these main characters speak, unnamed character, I'm going to slap you in the face.
Unnamed cop
number 2.
Yeah.
Night shift people start arriving other than the physicians. We have Bridget. She seems to be like a charge nurse for the night shift. She's arrived. She said it's like
seems like an
gridlocked.
icon. I love her.
She's very calm when she comes in.
Oh, yeah. She just walks in like this is any old shift.
I know. She's like, I did a face mask in the car on my way here. There was gridlock. So, I did my water pick while I was driving, whatever.
And you know what? Good for her. She deserves a little bit of calm before the chaos.
I just love how pretty much all of Night Shift we've seen walk in unbothered. Like, they're like, oh, mass shooting index? Yep, sure. Okay, where do you want me?
Mm-hmm. So now we cut to Buster, the clown. He has been shot in the arm, and they're going to give him some pain meds. So Whitaker starts asking questions like, did you see who shot you? Kind of stuff like that, which is interesting because like in this episode, he starts to be like, Investigator Whitaker. And I'm like, why is Whitaker asking people questions like this?
I don't know.
This isn't even the first time he does it. He does it again. And I'm like, he do you want a badge?
I know it's like for comedic purposes to like try and break the ice, but Whitaker's first question being like, so you some kind of entertainer looking at a man in full clown makeup? He's so fun.
He's like, no, this is my kink.
This is just how I dress.
This is the moment where this mass casualty kind of moves from like incoming and triage to like focusing on the story of it, like the gossip, what's going on. We focus in a little bit more. And of course, we are drilling into this moment.
Drilling into more than just the moment.
In the same way that Whitaker drills an IO into this man mid-sentence.
I love that he's like, little pinprick, and then it absolutely is not a little pinprick.
Again, allegedly, the part that hurts of putting an IO is when the skin twists.
Ugh.
If Whitaker had the foresight to pinch the skin and then go for an IO, it might have stung a little bit, and it would have been less. But he's a fourth-year med student. They all pull him aside, and they're like, so, why'd you do that?
Like, Whitaker, team huddle. Okay, so why did you do that?
Whitaker, what the fuck?
That's one of my favorite Mel moments. Like, the way that she says it.
It's so good.
So
and
funny.
I actually think we have a recording, like a video recording of you and I watching that for the first time. We should post it on the podcast on our Instagram. We have you and I reacting to that. We had, okay, so still honestly blows my mind that there are like seasoned medical professionals who listen to our show and are entertained by it and continue to chime back in. So Dr. J wrote in like yesterday, and he said a bunch of different things that were very helpful, very interesting. We'll talk about them at some point. We are on a little bit of a time crunch today, so we can't get into that email today. But he basically was like, I've been listening. I've had a bunch of thoughts. I've been too lazy to write in. So here's a bunch of thoughts from a bunch of different episodes. But he said that the most painful part of IO placement is flushing it or pushing meds through it, and that the faster, the more it hurts. And he said that, crudely speaking, it could wake the dead.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he said he has been, he just hit 10 years. Congratulations on your anniversary. 10 years as an emergency physician. But yeah, he wrote in and said that ugh, awful. But hey, fuck CPR. Just start giving IOs. People will wake up, apparently, says Dr. J.
Thank you for your input.
And we also got a review recently from Libby, who is a nurse. She said she had just got to episode 3, and she had said that she wished that we had a medical professional weighing in. So, Libby, if you are hearing this, if you have made it this far, if you haven't stopped listening to us, please write in. Like, we want to hear your thoughts. You can email us at pitcrewpodcast@gmail.com and, like, tell us your thoughts. We will read them, we promise.
We also love yelling at Robert's boyfriend to get medical input.
This is me stepping in for Mac, who would want me to say this. Mac is not a doctor. He is a telemetry technician. Thank you very much.
But it is closer to the medical realm than any of us, so.
Yeah.
His opinion, I'm sure he would say, should be carried with several grains of salt, if not several rocks.
Okay.
Several rocks of salt?
Now I want a margarita. So, personally, to me, one of the funniest moments of all of this is Mel saying, "Don't worry, sir, there will be no more pain." And, like, gesture, like, don't worry, it's on the house. Like, there will be no more pain. It's so good.
Buster is like, that hurt worse than getting shot. I'm like, fucking,
really?
Stop crying, little baby.
Yeah, so they tell him IOs are for unconscious patients because Bridget is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
And then, of course, Santos's best joke of the entire season, one that I'm fully on board with, unless it's a mime, they can't scream.
If we ever get Issa on this show, we need to ask her, like, if there were alternate lines, if this was an ad-lib, like, I need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know. That's a good question. Are there alternates in this show? I know in, like, comedies and stuff, they have a bunch of different jokes and they'll record them all and see which one does best, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to know, like, are there alternates for the jokes, or is it really very much like, nah, just stick to the script. The script is good enough, you know? So they're having a lot of trouble intubating this guy. Like, they don't have the tools that they need. There are so many airways in this episode and just, like, problems because we are just, like, out of stuff. Things are dead. We're out of things. Like, this is just the episode where our best laid plans go to shit, you know? We could have the whole playbook and the best doctors, but at the same time, like, if we don't have the tools we need, what the fuck do you want us to do, you know?
Am I correct in remembering that they also try to do the, like, follow the bubble trick with, like, a compression?
Yes. Mohan says, "Do you want me to give you a bubble?" It doesn't work. And then Abbott walks up and he's got a tactical airway in his back. He's like, "Oh, I got a tactical airway in my back." It's like something they do on, like, in the field in the military. And he says he could do it with his eyes closed. And then as he's doing it, he is actually not looking. He's, like, looking away as he's doing it because he's doing it, like, tactile. He's literally just, like, feeling for the right things. And so it's one of those things where it's like, when you learn to do something without looking at it and to do it by just feeling, if you do then, like, look at it, it kind of messes with your vibe, you know? But, like, he's not looking as he's doing it. It's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is just, like, muscle memory.
A man has never been hotter to me than Abbott in this mass casualty incident.
Yeah.
And so Abbott and Mohan have this first, like, flirty moment. Oh my god. I am sure that there are people who are going to be like, well, I didn't see it that way. I don't give a fuck. This was flirting, okay? She is socially stunted because she spends way too much time focused and at work, and he is a widower and he flirts very dryly, okay? That is what I know about Abbott, is he is really dry when he flirts.
Listen, I straight up didn't see it that way, but, like, I respect it and I'm into it, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
I'll tell you what it was. She says, "What else you got in your go bag?" And he goes, "Oh, just wait and see." And as she walks off, he turns and, like, watches her walk away. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. All right. Very early on in our season, Robert, you said that we each get one genuinely horny thought.
Oh no.
That will be censored. Okay. This is going to be censored. No one but the three of us will ever hear this. Okay?
The three of us and God. Let's go. Let's hear it, Camille.
I'm
Okay.
so scared right now.
I'm still saving mine for, I think it's next episode. I'm still saving mine.
Y'all might think this is mild, but here we
I
go.
don't have
okay?
one. This is not a thirsty show for me.
Well, that's because you're not attracted to men.
You
So,
know what? That's fair.
okay. So she says, "What else you got in your go bag?" And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you got, we're gonna need them. Like, hope you got.
I can't believe I have to censor that. That is so tame.
No,
That
I
is
know.
so tame. Camille, you could have been hornier, I think.
No, I know, but there are people who listen, who know me, who listen to this, like that I work with. So
maybe not.
maybe not. But
hello, Camille's coworkers.
no. But no,
God.
like I boy, oh boy. Yeah, nah. Woo. Oh, that's my woo. Okay. So on to dead people. Kiara and Lupe are now starting to try to identify victims. So they're taking photos of the deceased, like their faces, tattoos, etc.
Because in the last episode, they asked for the family and friends who are waiting in the hospital lunchroom cafeteria to send, like, hey, this is my friend, family member. This is what they look like. Here are pictures. Like, it's time to compare databases. And we get a hit in a little bit, unfortunately.
I would never want to be the person to have to do all of that. That's so, like... Also, you know what I was thinking about throughout this episode? For some reason, my brain just kept going, what must this ER smell like right now?
Oh.
Because there's so much
I didn't
blood
even think about
everywhere.
that.
Blood does have that, like, metallic-y smell to it. So I can't imagine, like, that, but times 50 or whatever, because there's a lot of blood. Even, God bless the environmental services doing their best, trying to clean up all the blood and shit. There is still so much.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't smell like blood, it probably also smells like very heavy cleaner. So, you know, I'm going to get a headache if I have to smell anything in this hospital.
Just like, even just the thought of the smell makes me nauseous. Like, oh, God. So this patient comes in. Basically, they're like, oh, okay, they're going over everything. And they're like, okay, strip him. I also thought about the fact that this episode seems quieter, like audio-wise. Not like volume level, but just chaos-wise. It's not as chaotic. Like, there's a lot less incoming, you know? So the noise is not so crazy. It's not so hectic. And I thought that was really interesting. I, like, a couple times I thought that, and I was like, I don't know though, like, there's a lot going on, but still something about it is just, it's calmer somehow. They are stripping this guy, and he reacts to pain, and he's strapped. He's got a gun on his ankle. And I remember gasping and covering my face. Ugh. So Langdon yells for everyone to get down, and Perla launches herself over her patient, which is, a lot of people have written to me and been like, this is my favorite detail, is Perla throwing herself over her patient. Everybody else gets down on the ground, and she just launches herself over top of her patient. And it's really endearing. And I think true to a lot of healthcare workers is they don't even think about themselves first.
The SWAT team, police, they come quickly and dispose of the weapon, and then they can get back to treating this guy who is on the larger side, so unfortunately an IO won't reach the bone.
They do find a concealed carry permit in his wallet when they hand it over. But there's a discussion to be had about, like, fat phobia and how, like, medical care is somehow tailored to people with, like, the quote-unquote ideal body type, right? Like, people are engineering things to be like, oh, we can do this, and on average, you know, this is how long whatever would need to be. This is how long the drill would need to be. This is how long whatever it would need to be, or how big, or, you know, they can't do an IV, they can't do an IO. So they end up having to drill into his tibia, but that's not great access. Like, it doesn't deliver very quickly, because it has to come all the way up from his leg.
According to Mohan, at best you're getting, like, what, a liter an hour?
Yeah, which is crazy, because, like, they've been giving these patients, like, 2 liters max total. But I'm like, Anyway, then we have this moment between Robbie and Langdon, and it's really uncomfortable because Langdon is running into this situation where he needs to drill into the tibia, but he wants to confirm with Robbie because he's like, okay, just to make sure, like, this is what I need to do, yes? And Robbie is quiet. He, like, looks over and acknowledges that he's being spoken to, but he's kind of, like, taken out of it because it's Langdon. Like this beef is in the
Yeah.
way. I'm not saying beef to cheapen what happened at all.
Right. No.
It's just the best way to describe it right now for me. This beef is getting in the way of Robbie leading him. And so Langdon has to kind of prompt him again before Robbie's like, yes, that's correct. And it's such an uncomfortable little moment. Like we saw all this really great teamwork, and now we're starting to see breakdowns as well in this episode, which is very interesting. Yeah. So as Langdon is doing this, McKay's ankle monitor goes off, and Langdon yells for whoever, whatever's making that sound, could you please turn it off? I can't hear myself think. Again, that lends to like this whole teamwork thing is kind of fraying a little bit because we're snapping at each other about gossip. We have a leader who's kind of like hung up on the fact, or hung up on something, and I don't know, everybody's like not quite as there because they've been doing this for a full hour now, nonstop. Like there's been no stopping to chat in between patients like there was the rest of the shift. So things are just kind of like fraying at the edges now. And we're starting to see that.
Everybody's been through a lot.
Yeah, McKay walks away and she drills into her ankle monitor with an IO, which, by the way, Buster's like, get that away from me. I've already had one. She's like, it's not for you.
Poor guy.
She drills into her ankle monitor and everybody is watching. Everybody is shook. Santos kind of looks impressed. Not gonna lie.
I think we all are.
Gagged. Okay, go off.
I think it's Whitaker who is like, are you going to get in trouble for that? And she's like, yeah, probably.
Yep,
and then she just walks back to help people.
So she goes in to see Harrison. She takes a second. She takes the gown off and everything. She goes in to see Harrison. And he says he needs to pee. So she goes and she brings him a urinal. Because, okay, his dad, Chad, sexually successful Chad, is like, I told him to pee in the sink. Which, like, you know what? In an emergency for a dude, totally valid, pee in the sink. Or, I'm sorry, not for a dude, for someone with a penis, okay?
Honestly,
in a situation,
for someone that doesn't have a penis, like, if you gotta sit in the sink to pee in an emergency situation, all right.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I was like, why is McKay, like, judging Chad for this? Because she's like, are you serious? And then I'm like, oh, it's a hospital. You can't pee in the sink in the break room at a hospital. That is so disgusting.
In an emergency situation, I'll allow it.
This is an emergency room. They're all emergencies. So she brings him a urinal, right? Like one of the plastic like jugs. And he's like, I'll just hold it. And the look that she gives Chad, I think it's the first moment that we see the two of them really just have this moment of like being co-parents. The exasperated look that she gives Chad is so funny to me. It's so great. So the batteries, we find out on the laryngoscopes, are dead now. So like the lights are out.
Yeah, on multiple of them.
Yeah. Like Langdon is sorting through a bin of them and none of them have lights that are working, which is awful. Because like you need that. You can't like go down without, you've got to have a light. It's in somebody's throat. You can't, what? Ugh. Anyway.
Robbie's going to intubate without any vision. We're going old school, baby.
Robbie's like, fuck that. So he's going to intubate without seeing. Langdon is like, you told us never to do it without seeing the cords. And Robbie says, not today. And then they show an intubation. There is actually, the way they did this is they had like a prosthetic head that has the mouth open. Because I saw it in the background of a picture on Instagram and I commented and I was like, what the fuck is a severed head doing? They were like, it's what we use for the intubation, like the close-up shots. So that is not actually a human mouth. It's a prosthetic head that they do the intubations on. I did volunteer. I did let them know that I would love to, they could intubate me if they would like. If they would like to have me on season 2, I would let them do that. I trust them. I was met with laughter, but it's fine.
Yeah, because that's nuts, Camille. As much as I like the show, absolutely not. Do not get anywhere near my throat.
No, I told
not.
An actual medical professional who works on the show that they could intubate me.
Even the medical professionals. I'm like, absolutely not. Do not get anywhere near me.
Get away from me.
I don't want to be intubated.
They intubate this patient successfully, and Robbie says, and this will come back very shortly, Robbie says that they have 2 liters of blood per patient, and that's all they can afford.
Sure, Robbie.
Maybe double that. Maybe a little bit more. Who knows?
Maybe a little
Unless
bit more.
it's someone that Robbie knows and cares about personally.
Wink, wink. And even then, cares about is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Knows by proxy is more accurate.
Yeah, knows from Adam.
Yeah.
So I was struck by the fact that even the more like administrative roles are also very affected by like things that are going on, because they're having to identify the first casualty, who is Vincent Rivera. He arrived DOA. Arrived DOA? Really, Camille? He's DOA.
He arrived dead on arrival.
So we have that moment of them identifying our first casualty, which is really sad. And then we just immediately cut over to Langdon teaching Mohan about a supraclavicular subclavian, which he learned from a podcast. This is not that kind of podcast. We're not going to teach you these things.
No, please teach me about the super.
We're going to teach you how to say it.
I'm like, yeah, we can teach you how to pronounce it. It's supraclavicular subclavian.
Nope.
Fuck.
Hold on.
Supraclavicular subclavian.
Nope.
Subclavian. Subclavian. Supraclavicular subclavian.
Yay! You
We
did
did
it.
it. Now you say it now.
No. Supraclavicular subclavian?
We did it.
Yay.
I don't know how the fuck.
I can read.
What the fuck are like the medical podcasts teaching, dude?
Okay. So MRAP podcast is where he says he learned it. It's actually CME, which is continuing medical education. Like you can do your CME hours through this podcast. It can count. So a lot of us do continuing education in our careers on like a yearly basis. It's usually like a yearly requirement that you have to do 8 hours of something or 10 hours of whatever. So doctors have the same thing. In advance of like renewing their license, they have to have a certain amount of continuing education. In the state of Tennessee, at least, every 2 years, doctors need 40 hours of CME. And then 2 of those hours have to be on controlled substances. So they use this supraclavicular subclavian for blood transfusions, just so you know. And then my note here is just cowboy medicine with an exclamation point.
Yeehaw.
And I just like Langdon has good instincts, just like Javati has good instincts. She's very clever in improvising, running out of things and improvising. And Santos and Abbott and so many others they have incredible instincts. They're really quick on their feet. Yeah, it's just, I love it. And again, this is the episode where you really see cowboy medicine. Maybe this episode should just be called Cowboy Medicine, actually.
No, but that's what our patient has. That's
true,
their disease.
That's true.
And it's terminal.
And of course, a line that I loved was, and squeeze blood.
Yes, of course.
And squeeze blood. You're out.
Of blood? Yes, that's correct. And so Mr. Grayson, our hippie, has fallen asleep and scared Whitaker to death. Whitaker walks up and starts talking to him, and he's not responsive. And then he does the sternal rub, and he wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, I must have fallen asleep." Which is funny that it took like a sternal rub to wake him up, and he's groggy when he wakes up is like concerning to me. But Whitaker doesn't quite catch on to this as being a problem because of everything else going on. Because at the same time, this new patient, Carmen, is wheeled in. And so right before that, Whitaker, again, little Detective Whitaker, is asking if Mr. Grayson saw who shot him. And I'm like, boy, you little gossip. He's like, oh no, and I'm like, no, you're a gossip.
Whitaker wants to fucking put the shooter behind bars himself. Like, damn, okay.
So Whitaker goes to shake Carmen's hand. She's the patient that's come in. And she's like got an arterial bleed in her right thigh or like in the groin area. And he goes to shake her hand when he introduces himself. And Donahue instead just like slaps gauze into his hand. Because what the fuck are you doing? And then, oh my God. So her shirt says Timbleke and Whitaker pronounces it Team Bleak. He's like, what does this mean? Team Bleak on her shirt.
He's so white.
He's never met a Latino in his life.
It's extra funny because he's a British actor playing an American with a Western quote unquote accent,
Yeah.
like a really like neutralized Western accent, purposely mispronouncing a Spanish word. So it's like layer upon layer upon layer of joke.
It's so good. I just know he says quesadilla.
Oh. My poor little white boy.
So he asked Mel for advice, and she's kind of like, we can tell she's checking out emotionally. She's burning out.
Oh yeah. Mel is having a rough time.
When we watched this together, did I not like literally say, oh, she's not well? Like immediately I was like, she's not well.
I think you did. I can't remember.
And okay, so she suggests the Israeli bandage. I have some thoughts. Not a very timely moment to be using that verbiage.
No, you know what? Emergency bandage. That's like the official name for it.
Yeah, that's the name. So it's nicknamed the Israeli bandage in the military. I guess we could say Mel calls it that because she works at the VA, but why I don't know quite why a med student would know it as an Israeli bandage. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think I'm just hypersensitive to the fact that there's a genocide going on. This is so hard for me to word in a way because I feel very passionately and the problem is not that I'm like trying to say the right thing. The problem is that there are a lot of people who listen who don't know me. That's where the problem comes in because I could say whatever and I know that my friends will understand what I'm getting at. But when it's people who don't know me from Adam, they don't know what I'm saying. And so like I think the reason it's so tender, and I've heard from a couple of people who've been like they don't call it that in a typical hospital. That's a pretty military thing. We don't call it that. But it's just called, so it was invented by someone in Israel and it's used in mass casualty incidents, things like that on the battlefield. I think that going hand in hand with the fact that Noah Wiley recently said that they had trained with like Israeli medics for the show, or they like consulted with them for the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said it in like the for your consideration campaign. And so to me, that's one of those things where I'm like, why did I wouldn't have said that out loud. And you know what? If someone is listening to this podcast right now and is like, you know what? I'm going to stop listening because of our feelings about what's going on in Gaza and say that there is a genocide happening in Gaza, that it must stop. Israel must be stopped. We must stop funding the genocide. And if you don't agree, then you can stop listening. We actually don't want you here.
Do we want to talk about the email we got? We got an email, which here's the thing. We got an email from someone who was like, I'd love to come on and talk about Jewish identity, have like a religious talk about, Robbie in particular. But then the website that's linked in their email, like the first fucking thing on the website is like a mission statement supporting Israel and its right to exist.
And how they're proud Zionists. So I will say none of us are Jewish by heritage or religion. But I will say not supporting the state of Israel does not make you anti-Semitic. Boycotting Israeli film companies and things like that does not make you anti-Semitic. And anyone who tells you that it's anti-Semitic to speak out about what's happening in Gaza is using propaganda to try to silence you. I think it's fair to say this is something we could have skipped over, but I just wanted to mention it because we want you to know where we stand. Yeah. We're not ashamed to say that. You can send us a nasty email. You can comment something nasty. And again, like I would love to talk about Jewish identity with someone. I would love to explore that with someone. However, we are not going to platform Zionists.
Yeah.
I am not out there like actively trying to deplatform people, but I'm definitely absolutely 1,000% not platforming them on my own.
Yeah.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine indeed.
All that to say, can't we just have fucking called it the emergency bandage? Or like, couldn't we have just referred to it in a different way?
This is like when Disney shows, for some reason, have a character go to Tel Aviv or no Krav Maga. It happens way too much in Disney Channel shows. It's fucking astonishing.
Yeah. No. So, a lot of people in Gaza are Jewish. Just saying. So now we're going to cut to Whitney. I'm assuming Whitney Rivera. This is Vincent Rivera's wife. I put husband. I'm so sorry in my notes.
Oops.
It's his
Trans
wife.
icon. Yeah.
They are showing her photos to confirm And then they have to break the news to her that he has passed away because she says he's not talking, and they say no, he's not. And this is a moment where I'm like, hell yeah, Kiara. Like, she does a very good job of being very quiet and compassionate in this moment.
Being there for Whitney. And then the next thing Whitney asks about is, what about my brother Brian? He and Vincent went to Pit Fest together. And it's like, he's not a fatality, so we don't know for sure where he's at right now.
What a horrible thing to have to hear is, well, he's not a current fatality.
Yeah.
We don't know where the fuck he is, though. We don't know if he's here or not, but, you know. You can tell she's like a dental hygienist or something because she's in scrubs. Oh my God. We find out now that Langdon's patient that was strapped is a jewelry store owner. He has no priors and he's cleared. I want to know why the fuck he went to a music festival strapped.
I mean, I think this man probably had some bold ideas that, like, if something like this happened, he was going to be the good guy with the gun. And very clearly, he was not.
That's a mentality a lot of people who are very like, they can't take away my guns, I gotta protect them. Like, no, you can't combat a fucking assault rifle with your whatever pistol it was.
Didn't they call it? It's a SIG, a P-SIG or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. We don't know guns. I don't want to know guns. I mean, I have nothing against learning about guns. Like, I like to learn about things, but I have no interest. I have been to a shooting range a couple of times. The second time that I went, I ended up having a panic attack very shortly into it. I have problems because I have anxiety with keeping my eyes open when I pull the trigger, which is a big problem. You have to keep your eyes open. I tend to like squeeze my eyes shut when I pull the trigger. So yes, I have shot a gun multiple times. It's just not high on my priority list of, I've got pepper spray and I don't know, one of those little like personal alarms you pull the pin out of and it starts screaming. So he's cleared. He's got no priors. This is not our guy. Robbie goes outside. He gives a pep talk to Shen and Ellis. They then hop into a pickup truck. It's a sheriff's department truck. It has brought in 4 patients and Leah and Jake are in the truck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I gotta say, when they pan to the truck, like, you can clock Jake sitting in the back of that truck. I went, oh, it's Jake. And he's like hunched over. And I was like, oh God, it's Jake. And then
he's hunched over and we don't hear his voice for like a solid beat. So for a second, if you're paying attention to the background, you're like, shit, did Jake die?
Yeah, it's like, oh, what's going on with Jake?
And he has been putting pressure on Leah's wound. She's been shot in the chest, in the left chest, which is like where your heart is. So Jake gets taken away after they've brought them in. Jake gets taken away. Langdon and the others recognize him. This is where the ominous, stressful music comes in, which we don't have very often, but we have it here. Leah has no pulse. This is one of many times that we will come back to them. So Santos points out that Whitaker's hippie does not look good. And Whitaker says, oh, he's sleeping. And then Nurse Jamie says that he has no response to pain. She just like very quickly reaches out, sternal rub, no response, and is like, no response to pain.
Whitaker's like, shit.
Yeah. So Santos is sent to get an attending. Dana is now going to help with Leah, so she tells Princess to take over as the primary because Bridget, who is the other assumedly charge nurse, is stuck in yellow. Whitaker asks where Jake went because he notices he needs like a pulse ox, and he notices that the kid, because he doesn't know Jake, he notices that the kid who had a bleeding leg and was in a wheelchair is gone. We see that Jake has gotten up to go and watch them work on Leah from one of the trauma rooms, or not trauma rooms, I'm sorry, one of just like the rooms in the ED. Langdon has an OD patient and he asks Mohan about Leah, and Mohan shakes her head, and like, this is the first hint that we have that like everybody but Robbie knows that she's gone.
Yeah.
Within a minute of her arriving, we know she's gone. So awful, horrible, yay, great.
Even though everyone else knows that she's gone, Robbie's going to work on her, and he has to also now double down and be like, Jake, leave, you can't be here, get in the wheelchair, you have to get taken care of, you were also shot, while they try their best to revive Leah. One of the things that I really like is that Abbott, he's working in the background, and he's sort of trying to be the voice of reason of like, hey, she's pretty bad, ... She only gets 1 unit of blood, ... Maybe she shouldn't have because I think she's dead, ...
He's very much like this little, just this little like confident, steady, reasonable voice for Robbie. I like that that Abbott is now being for Robbie what Robbie has been for Abbott historically.
Abbott is just trying to be like the Jiminy Cricket for Robbie right now.
But I also like that everybody is watching. I think this is one of those episodes, as soon as we start this mass casualty, we really start to see a lot of the actors have talked about how, like, on the show, it's very much like theater because there's everybody acting at the same time. And so we have these moments of everybody has to continue doing what they're doing in the background because everybody's in the shot. It's not like you can be sitting in your trailer while they're doing something, you know? And we see how open air this is. It really is like a stage. So everybody is watching. Everybody knows that this is serious. Everybody can tell that something is wrong. So Langdon's OD wakes up. By the way, I did look it up. The top 2 causes of death at music festivals are gunshot wounds and overdoses. We have both of them right now. This OD wakes up though, and it's so funny. Like, it's startlingly funny. The way he's just like, nah. And Langdon kind of gives him shit. He's like, what'd you take? Because while you were overdosing, there was a shooting, you know? Which is rich coming from Langdon because he is taking things he shouldn't be taking and not under the supervision of a doctor.
Yeah, he's doing shots of IV medication.
Yeah, lug. We still have no pulse on Leah. And Abbott is, again, he's in the background trying to just like start to coax Robbie into like this inevitable truth that she's gone.
It's so hard to watch.
Robbie has been doing so well, and suddenly he's just like fallen off the cliff. Like, sorry, he jumped off the roof. No, he's not well.
The main thing is that Robbie is wasting so many resources. And you think that, and like saying that sounds inhumane and terrible. It's like, what are these resources that save someone? Yeah, under normal circumstances. But we are in the middle of a mass casualty incident, and we need to attend to not just one person, but several dozen, almost like 100 people total. Putting this much blood and time into one person could result in the deaths of others.
By the end, we will have more than doubled the resources we should have used for Leah per patient. Like, there are people who are suffering because he is putting so much into Leah. We find out that our hippie has an intracranial bleed and he needs a 1-inch burr hole. So Mel goes to find Neuro, but then Mohan does her own cowboy medicine and uses
Incredible.
an IO drill right into this man's head. And everyone, literally, the reactions, please go watch this and pause. The reactions are incredible. I'm pretty sure No Context the Pit has posted the screenshot. The faces,
The reactions are
especially
amazing.
Javadi, amazing. The whole, like, what the fuck? So Dr. Walsh comes to help, but Mohan has literally already drilled into this man's head. And then she references something very similar to Langdon. She references a case study from 2022. And she's just doing this cowboy medicine the same as everybody else because she's watching everybody do it. And she's like, you know what? Fine. She just saw Robbie and Abbott and Langdon do it. And fuck it, she's going to do it too because she just has to.
Yeehaw, baby.
This is not where that ends. But I love how judgmental Walsh is because they're like, oh, great save. And she's like, yeah, if he lives. Very surgeon. She's just like, yeah, sure. They have a barely there pulse on Leah. And by the time that Walsh gets there to check for a pulse, it's gone. Robbie's like, no, check again. Check, no, it's gone. But Walsh really very quickly, like, you can't say that she's not empathetic because she does very quickly, like, you see the shift in her from, yeah, if he lives, to a very quiet, I'm sorry, Like, nobody wants to disappoint Robbie, but it's inevitable. So they resume compressions, and Abbott says that blood is for the ones we can save, which is true, because what's a dead person going to do with blood? Robbie just can't let this go, though. And we have this, like, huddle break moment. And Santos says to Javadi, stay strong, Crash. And to me, this is the only moment in the entire season where it doesn't feel mean for her to call her Crash. Like, this is the only time where it doesn't seem mean-spirited to me. I've had people fight with me about, like, oh, but it's not mean-spirited. She gives nicknames as a term of endearment. And I'm like, no. This is one of those moments where I'm like, okay, it's not bad here. It's like a go-get-him tiger kind of a thing. So I actually was thinking that, like, Santos, well, first of all, Mel is continuing to spiral. She's got all the answers, but she can't communicate them very well because she's just kind of like, her brain is kind of like short-circuiting a bit. Like, the communication center of her brain is just like,
she's not doing well.
No more people. And Santos officially meets Jake. So she clues into the fact that Jake is talking about Robbie and Dana like he knows them. And so, he explains the connection. But I'm watching this interaction and I'm thinking that Santos actually might do really well in like peds ER, like working with adolescents. Because I was thinking, well, she would do a great job working with adolescents. And then I was like, but she's also really good at emergency medicine. So if she could figure out how to like mix adolescence and emergency medicine, and so I was like, I don't know, maybe in a peds ER she could do really well. She's very empathetic, not towards other adults, but towards adolescents. And we see it repeatedly. This woman that Donahue spoke to last hour, she like hasn't spoken. She's gone numb, basically. She stopped crying. Mel's asking if she's okay. And these two just have like this trauma bond. Mel and Trish are just like, Mel's like, yeah, I'm about to become nonverbal. I get it, girl.
She's like, I'm right there with you, queen.
It's a really traumatic situation we're in. Like, no, for real.
So Dana and Abbott have this really wonderful silent conversation. This is one of those moments that I'm like, Sean Hattasy won an Emmy for this, is this silent conversation that he and Dana have as Abbott finally approaches Robbie. And he's, again, we've used more than double the blood that we're supposed to. And Abbott just gets very factual with him. Tries to help him like work through the logistics of it and says, they're going to lose 10 other patients if he keeps putting all of his efforts into this girl.
Even if she were their only patient and they did everything they could, they still probably couldn't save her.
I like that he goes through the logistics of like, okay, you know what? If this were a normal day and she was the only one, this, and this, which is this, means this, and like goes through the whole thing to help Robbie understand, like, even on a normal day, you couldn't save this girl. Maybe, but no. So Robbie still is not ready to let go. Abbott is clearly incredibly concerned. We have a very quiet moment of like everybody watching. And Mohan approaches and asks if there's anything that she can do. And Robbie doesn't say anything. So Jack steps in and is like, you can go, check on triage. When Robbie goes nonverbal, shit's fucked.
We are in some rough waters.
I'm personally kind of shocked that Carmen is still awake with all the blood.
She's lost a lot of blood.
So much blood, and she's still awake. Like, go off, queen. You and your clean underwear. Great job, We'll find out later that this woman who is like nonverbal is Trish Gregory, and her daughter is one of the family members in the cafeteria looking for her.
The one I went to high school with?
Yeah, the one that Mal went to high school with. So Trish Gregory, she gets up and she just like walks out to look at what's going on. And when this aired, actually, there was suspicion online that this woman was like the shooter's mom or something like that. Because the like catatonia of it was almost like, is she feeling this way because she can't believe someone she loved did this, or someone she loves did this? So that was the suspicion in the moment, is people were like, is this woman a loved one of the shooter?
God, I'm going to enjoy watching season 2 episode by episode and having like theorizer brain.
I don't think I heard that particular theory. I was also like, it was David the whole time. And because I was like, I don't have any other theories. So
yeah, fuck them kids.
That's interesting though.
Yeah, for sure. So, and again, like, we didn't know that this was Trish Gregory. We didn't have a name for her yet. So people were just like, is this like the mother of the shooter or someone who loves the shooter? As she's standing there, we're just hearing about like bleeding through bandages, needing blood, and like all this awful stuff is being said in like voiceover. And Mel kind of just like lets her be for a moment before finally like taking her away again. Because it's like, okay, you're searching this out. You kind of are trying to understand and take in the situation. I will give you a micro dose of it and then rush you back off to, well, not rush you, but like guide you back off to where I need you to be, kind of a thing, which is a very compassionate way to address this, I think.
Right.
And then Shen mentions, he's past his union mandated bathroom break. Go piss, girl. So he says he shouldn't have had his second coffee. And in my brain, I'm thinking coffee makes you need to poop. Is this man saying he really needs to poop?
Oh, no. And that Dunkin' coffee really makes you have to poop.
Yeah, no, that Dunkin' coffee is a whole other level. And that's his second one. That means I find it's funny to me that he had time to have one coffee and then on his way to work, pick up a second coffee.
And it had time to melt.
You gotta love a man who knows how to nurse his coffee. Like, I don't know.
David arrives and he is turned away until Teresa, who is sitting nearby, recognizes him. And she's like, David? And they're like, oh my God, you're the kid? And they beat his ass to the ground.
We don't condone.
I'm so sorry for laughing.
We don't condone police abuse, but also the way they fucking
them
tackled
kids.
him. Have you seen? Have either of you seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Yeah.
The fucking cop character who like Flint Lockwood. They tackle him to the ground, and Teresa is like, "Oh my god, please don't hurt him." Yeah, we're gonna find out in a second that he's,
Smacked his little head.
yeah, smacks his little head, and they have to check him for concussion. Blah 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 blah.
My question is like, how the hell is David so clueless to everything going on? Like, I'm like, you've been posting on Instagram. You don't know that there's a shooting. You haven't heard all the sirens. You didn't notice everything going on. Like, what is wrong with this kid?
You'd be surprised how algorithms work depending on what kind of stupid shit. Like if David's entire fucking Instagram feed is like edgy, no one understands me kind of stuff, that's gonna hide anything that's really happening.
So Leah still has no pulse, and Robbie checks using a Doppler. First, so he puts ultrasound gel on his wrist, and we first hear him check his own pulse, which basically is like he's checking to make sure it's working. And then he checks Leah. Again, I think we've talked before about how you can't do ultrasounds and things like that on people in a show for legal reasons. So obviously these sounds are added in, in post. The silence is pretty deafening. As someone who, I've heard my own heartbeat many, many, many times as a heart patient. I'm very much used to like that Doppler sound effect. I have echocardiograms every year, and so I'm very used to hearing that sound. That crackling silence is kind of haunting, especially because he's just spent so long trying to save her. And I also wanted to point out that this is a scene where you do have to have an intimacy coordinator around. You don't have to, but you should. And they did.
Because the boobs are out.
The boobs are boobing, the boobs are out the entire scene. And
Not
there's a ton of people in this
sexy
scene
way
too.
At all. I mean, they are covered in blood, and
you can barely even see, like you can barely see her nipple.
Yeah, it's very medical
because it's very graphic, and you can barely see her nipple.
Yeah,
but I have it on good authority that like on the set, people were very like protective of this actress and like kind of like shielding her as soon as they called cut and like covering her up. So just kind of like body blocking to shield her until someone could get something over her, kind of a thing. This is definitely a scene where you need to have an intimacy coordinator to be there, just because there's a young girl with a bunch of actors much older than her standing around, and she's got her boobs out the whole time. And that's gotta be really uncomfortable, especially because like she's just laying there with her eyes closed the whole time. So you have to think, as an actress, she doesn't have her vision to tell her what's going on. She can't see and anticipate someone touching her. So this is all very, very choreographed, and you have someone there to advocate for you and be watching the whole time. So that is why intimacy coordinators are so incredibly important, not just for sex scenes, for everything. So Robbie finally calls it. They put a time of death. That Sharpie writing through the blood is pretty intense to me.
Pretty jarring. He's also flashbacking to Doc Addison flatlining.
Mm-hmm.
Drama.
Yeah.
Mohan is very much advocating for David with the cops. He needs a CT, and she's very much like guiding him and kind of like, they just tackled him, kind of a, and I'm like, you know what? Go off. This is very in character for Mohan. So Dana is cradling Leah's head after they put the sheet over her, and it's just like, oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. And then we have Trish Gregory again. She's a bit catatonic, right? Santos kind of tries to make a joke. Mel is deep in thought. She thinks that Trish is experiencing PTSD. And Santos pats Mel's arm, and she flinches. And as we were watching this, I literally said out loud, ooh, did you see the way she pulled away from her? I was like, yeah, again,
she did.
Certainly checking out. She is overstimulated and needs a break. I literally kept, when I was watching this episode, I kept thinking, where is Langdon? Langdon needs to clock that Mel is not doing well, because he's like the only one who has in the show clocked when she needs something, you know?
Unfortunately, he's probably preoccupied saving someone else's life.
Yeah, which is so unfortunate. I'm like, I'm sorry, I need my emotional support, Langdon. What the fuck?
Not unfortunate, by the way, for the patient he'd be trying to save.
No, I know. This patient's like, wait, what the fuck? So Santos then approaches Whitaker, and she's like, hey, how's it going? And like, dare I say, as the number one Santos hater, that I think that like in this situation, it seems like Mel and Santos should switch off. Like, clearly one of them is doing better in this situation, is compartmentalizing better than the other.
Yeah.
And I can tell that after more training, after she gets her shit together, she's going to be a good lead.
Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lead.
Yeah.
But hey, we cut back to Carmen, who stopped bleeding externally.
Yay!
But she's unconscious because she's bleeding internally. I don't
Oh,
understand why that's
God.
bad. The blood's where it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all inside. And Abbott can't come to help. So Santos goes again to find an attending, and she asks for Abbott, and he's like, I'm busy. And then she's trying to find anybody, but nobody can come and help. Langdon's patient has popped a clot. So then Abbott passes his patient off and goes to help Langdon. And I personally, I would love to talk to someone in makeup about like the technical side of like showing a bleeding wound, Like, I'm sure there's a lot of tubing and stuff and like balloons involved, like gauges, like the little air balloons on like a blood pressure cuff kind of a thing. So I would love to talk to somebody about that because that's fascinating to me. And the fact that it all, I think, technically falls under makeup, that's crazy. And again, there are more rumors about David.
Langdon tells everyone to focus on their patients, which
And then
is
Langdon is,
which is just parroting what Robbie said earlier when the SWAT team initially showed up. Focus on your patients.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, it's good leadership. I'm glad that in all of these different scenarios, there is some voice of reason, and it changes who it is, but yeah. So they take Leah to Peds.
And then they go a long way so Jake can't see.
They go behind Jake so that he won't see it. Robbie gets called away to help with something, so they continue on without him. Santos wants Robbie's help, but he grabs Jake and then takes him to the family room, and Robbie starts explaining everything to Jake the way he would anybody else, but he's crying. And you can see the moment where Jake is like realizing what Robbie is saying because his arms literally fall off of the armrests of the wheelchair. Like his whole body starts to slump. Robbie is crying. He's explaining it. Jake is devastated. And Robbie says, Jake really wants to see her. Robbie is like, this is an active investigation. Her body will be released to her parents. But Jake is like begging, and Robbie caves, which is like, bro,
Yeah, special circumstances, I guess, but also he won't realize this till the next episode, but Robbie, you are currently in the middle of actively trying to save many lives.
Yeah.
The lives of the many outweigh your sort of stepson right now.
Yeah. And so Santos, unable to find an attending, is like, fuck it. And she does a Raboa. She's going to float a balloon to the aorta and then inflate it to stop the blood flow, which is basically meaning like they're going to stop the blood flow to the like lower half of this woman's body. Okay.
Not great.
Admittedly, not great, but I can't even blame her for this because, again, she's following the example of the other doctors who have all done cowboy medicine.
Also, apparently a Raboa would be the correct thing to do in this scenario. It's not necessarily that she's performing an out of nowhere, what the fuck are you doing, Santos medical procedure, is that she's doing it without an attending or senior resident.
Right. But also the fact, like, time-wise, so I think Abbott says that they've got like an hour that it can be in place.
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly. So like, we don't know that we have an OR to fix this in an hour or before an hour passes. Oh my goodness.
I imagine that she's been moved now to like the super front of the list. The next available OR is going to be her.
Yeah. And so when Mel walks up and they're like, she's doing a Raboa, Mel goes, oh no way. And she runs to get help. We cut to Robbie taking Jake into their makeshift morgue into Peds. And he asks Jake what number he is. And Jake says he's 91. And then he kind of like cross-references the other labels because it's such a haunting thing that you can't tell who the patient is just looking at it because they're all covered.
But if we didn't have the numbering system for Robbie to check, he'd have to check each individual one until, he got to Leah. And it would be... I think it would be traumatizing. Horrifying to actually see the other dead bodies before Robbie finally walks in to get Leah.
These people are all dead? And I'm like, yeah, no, they just put a sheet over them for fun.
Abbott comes in with my favorite line of the episode, probably of the show. He walks in, fucking military posture, being like, a Raboa, are you shitting me?
It's so good. But the arms... The hands folded behind his back. It is very military. Like he snaps into like a very much what the fuck And I love it.
Because again, it's not that the Raboa was the bad thing to do. The bad thing to do was not get
no
Robbie
supervision.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very dramatic decision to make without confirming with someone. Like even Langdon was like, I'm going to place an IO or like, I'm going to place an IO in this guy's leg. Let me confirm with my attending first. You know, like even those decisions. And so I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. But at this moment, she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to save a life. And I can't blame her for it.
For those who need context, a Raboa is essentially an internal tourniquet. And that's why it can only be up for about an hour. It's also like the same rules for like an actual tourniquet. If you cut off the blood to the area too long, it'll die.
Right. The reason that the wound is dry now, quote unquote dry, is because there is no blood flow, right? So yeah, awful. Carmen wakes back up, like the Raboa is successful, right? It was the right thing to do. She wakes back up, and then Abbott hits us with, you never should have done that on your own ever. Do you understand? But that was pretty badass. You saved her life. Good job. And I'm very struck by the fact that like this is exactly the kind of mentor that that Santos needs. She needs Abbott. She doesn't need Robbie.
Is this the first time someone's like gone out of their way to be like, hey, Dr. Santos, you did a good job?
Honestly, I think so. I don't know that anyone has ever told her she's done a good job. In the show, at least so far. I'm sure someone in her life has told her she's done a good job, but...
Not according to the fanfic we read. Apparently, according to the fanfic we read, Santos's life is a fucking mess in every universe.
By the way... we do have people leaving fanfic recommendations. Mal, I don't know if you
that commented that, I did open it and start it, and I have just been so busy this week. But I did read the first chapter, and thank you for that recommendation. It's not a Santos Garcia. It's a Santos and
Mel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which was not a pairing that I really expected, but like I don't hate it. So thank you for that.
Same. Yeah.
You're an icon.
Yeah.
Wait, did you also start reading it, Robert?
Yes, I started fucking reading it. I'm also keeping up to date with the Santos Garcia
absolutely.
one.
I have subscribed to that. I get email alerts.
Yeah, it updates weekly because the author spent like 2 months writing the entire story.
Great.
It was Caroline. The listener was Caroline.
Yeah.
So yes, Caroline, they have both started reading the fanfic that you recommended. Congratulations.
I wish Smut did something for me. For me, it's just like reading. It's just like reading literally fiction. It's like reading fiction. I'm like, haha, gay sex isn't real.
Man, I sure wish that gay sex was real.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, I just and this will come back in a later episode as well. But I really think that like no. I'm sure it will, friend. I'm sure it will. Someone's gonna fall on a bottle rocket next season, quote unquote fall. Anyway, I really do think that like Santos would do better with the night shift doctors. Jake starts, okay, this is such a sensitive, fuck them kids. This is such a sensitive moment because I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a very not valid, but a very common reaction to have. Jake immediately starts blaming Robbie. He's like in the middle of having a flashback.
Yeah.
Robbie recounts, or he's like, you know, I don't know how many people we've saved today. Everyone we saved was a fucking miracle, but I can tell you about all the people I lost during my shift just today. Yeah. And he ends it with like, I'm going to remember Leah long after you've forgotten her. Oh fuck, I'm sorry. And then like wheels him out and just starts breaking down in the PEDS unit.
That's intense, bro.
Yeah, no.
And also he's just like,
watch.
I'm going to remember her long after you've forgotten her, bitch. Like, whoa, that's... And then I think that's why he says, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, because that's not a kind thing to say. No. But also, like, Jake is not being kind. No. But that's a lot to say to a teenager.
Yeah, no, Robbie he's going to forget
this most traumatic thing that's ever happened to. He's never going to forget this.
No, he's not.
And so this is Robbie.
This is unfair.
This is, yes, but unfair, but we're not saying that it's not valid, right? Like, this is absolutely very realistic.
Robbie is entitled to his feelings. However, showing them to Jake in this way,
he loses his composure for the first time with someone.
Yeah.
Well, not quite. He does lose his composure with Langdon earlier, but like,
no,
I was thinking about the shut the fuck up, but This is the first moment that Robbie, like with a quote unquote patient, loses his composure. And then again, we'll see it later. I think it's episode 14 with the fucking Dr. Google bullshit. But
Fucking Dr. Google bullshit.
So yeah. And this episode ends with Robbie on the ground sobbing in a full panic attack.
Yeah. Worst day of his life, for sure.
Can I say my super edgy, like, fucking Tumblr thing that I thought of on the way home from the gym after watching this episode?
Absolutely.
Oh no, it's so tragically I died of a broken heart.
Oh, hate that.
Y'all were supposed to laugh at that because I thought that was like edgy Tumblr badness.
It made me sad.
Oh my god. Anyway, this episode was fucking rough, but we got through it. We did it, folks.
Yeah. I did not have a good time watching.
No.
Like, I had kind of a good time watching 6 p.m. because I was like, this is a great episode. Like, it's traumatic and it's scary, but like, this is a great episode. And this one, it's just like, this is a great episode, but like, oh, I don't want to watch this.
Everything goes wrong in this episode. Like, everything. And it's really depressing. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No thoughts, head empty.
No, that's really it for me.
If that's all. So long, fellow losers, because I won't forget to say it this week.
We didn't say it last time?
Nope.
We did. We
Oh.
did.
We
didn't
did?
we?
I
Yeah.
don't think we did. I think I forgot last week. I'm
Someone
sorry.
said it. I think I said it. I forgot. I don't know.
Well,
Oh well.
bye, losers.
Bye. Fuck off, losers. The PITT CREW podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. It's edited by Robert. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at PITT CREW Podcast. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes. Our art is by Rand Pacoka. He can be found on Instagram at Rand Pacoka. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pittcrewpodcast@gmail.com. And this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and a review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.